I'm gonna pick up where I left off. This is the second video over scales. To recap, remember 12 inches right here. 12 inches equals a foot. Oops, it's hard to see right here. 12 inches equals a foot. And on the full scale, you have 0, 1, 2, 3. These are in real life. This is the actual 12 inches in real life. They look like this big, from here to here. And then we talked about how you break it down in between an inch, right? It's gonna be halves, quarters, eighths, and sixteenths. So if I have a line that measures, let's say to here, and I ask you, okay, what's that length? You're gonna tell me it's an inch. So you're gonna put it like this. That's an inch. And this is, let me see, this is half, that's an eighth, and it's 1, 2, that's 8, that's 4, 5/8. Okay, so that's gonna be 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8. Now, how do I know that? Visually, some of these lines are longer than the other. So now I know the tiny ones are 16ths, the ones that follow they're 8ths. So it's 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8. So it's gonna be an inch and 5/8 of an inch. It could be with this, or you can also put it just like that. 1/5/8 of an inch. 1 and 5/8 of an inch. Okay? All right, so I don't want to go too much in depth. If you have questions, let me know in class. I'm going to move this. Get another paper. Now, let's jump into the actual scales. Now remember, 12 inches equals a foot. You have to know this. You have to know this. On the full scale, we know that the actual length is from 0 to 12, and in real life, that is the measurement of an actual foot. All right. Now, in other words, this is what you would have. Let me see if I have one. This is what you would have. There we go. On a regular measuring tape. A regular measuring tape. See, this is not a scale. You use this to measure actual lengths, right? Now, on the scale, of course, we're trying to draw this building, and the hallways are 200 feet. We cannot fit it into a sheet of paper. Give me a second. Let me show you something. Maybe I shouldn't have to take this. I always have to have it somewhere. It's an evacuation route. This is the plan of this building, right? Now, if I want to get the plan of this building and put it in an actual sheet to a regular scale, to the real scale, it won't fit. I need a sheet as big as this building. And then what purpose would did that make if I cannot look at that sheet because it's way too big? So what do? You scale it down. You scale it down so it fits. In this case, I got tape on this. There we go. All right. So what do? You scale it down so it fits on a regular size sheet. In this case, it's an A size sheet, right? So it will scale down to fit into this. Now, this plan, I'm looking at it, and it doesn't give me a scale. So more than likely, it doesn't have a scale. See, it says emergency evacuation plan, floor plan, east building. Usually here at the bottom, it would have said like 1/16 equals a foot, which I think is way too, it won't fit. But if it's not to scale, usually you put NTS, not to scale. But they didn't put it here, so that's fine. And again, I don't know why at 2, but I'm not gonna get into that. Okay, so this is the whole idea. You scale a drawing down so it fits into a sheet, right? Okay, now for that you have to scale it down, and for that's when this comes into place. These different scales. Now, let me put this back. Oh no, I'll put it here. Okay, so let's start. One of the most common ones that you're gonna be looking at is gonna be the quarter, the half, and the eighth. Okay, quarter, and then, but you read them the same. you're reading exactly the same. So if I go over the half and the quarter and the eighth, the other ones, you can get it. There's 2 or 3 basic rules for it. Okay, let's start with the half. Now you're gonna notice that the scale, it has a number on the right and a number, I'm sorry, on the left and a number on the right. So this one here, this is the half scale, and on the other end, this is the 1-inch scale, or 1 scale. Now, for every scale, you're gonna see a 0, and then some numbers to the right, and some numbers to the left. In this case, the smallest number or increments, they're on the left, and the largest, they're on the right. On the half scale, it's the opposite. You have 0, the smallest increments are on the right, or smallest lines, and the big ones are on the left. Okay? Let's start on how to differentiate between feet and inches. For every scale that you have, or that you see, you have a 0 and some numbers. And I'm gonna do the half. So here I have, let me try to get something. Let me try this. So you have 0 right there, okay? And then you have a bunch of lines here, and then you have bigger increments and lines on this side. Well, 0, everything starts from 0. But we need to differentiate what's feet and what's inches. In this case, whenever you see the smallest lines going like this, these are the inch part. And these right here on this side of 0, in this case, these are the feet. Okay, so let's start with the feet first. Now, you're gonna notice here also, visually, the scales have some numbers on a little bit visually. Some are on top, like the 2, the 4, and the 8th. And then the 10, the 9, and the 8, they're a little bit lower. Okay, so visually, you need to know how you read the scale. For example, here we have 0 on this side, and these are the feet to this side. So for the feet, we're gonna read from right to left. Okay, now if this is 2, and also you get another way to know, and this is very, I mean, after a while you're gonna get it right away, but if you make a mistake, just make sure you always count from 0. So if this is 2 and if this is 4 feet, remember, we go in feet this way. The bigger, I guess, the bigger space in its feet, the smaller space in its inches. Here, I'm gonna go left, right? If this is 2, and another way of knowing which numbers to use is the ones that are going up, right? If I look at this one, this is 10, this is 9, this is 8, I'm counting down. That's not what I want. I want to count up. Why? Because I'm starting from 0. 0, 2, 4, 6. So now I know I'm using the top numbers. All right? Now, if this is 2 and if this is 4, what is this? That will be 3. And you're going to say, well, why is it 3 and it's showing a 9? Because the scales are sharing space. See, they're sharing space. For the 1-inch scale, they're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 feet. These are feet for the 1-inch scale. But for the half-inch scale, we're going 10. On the half-inch scale, it's 1. So it's 10. I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3. It's 9, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then it keeps on going. So in other words, some of these numbers they're gonna share. They'll be sharing space. And use your common sense. If this is 2 and if this is 4, well, this has to be 3 and this has to be 1. Okay, so don't break your head. You use your common sense. All right. Let's look at the 1-inch scale. And I said we were not going to look at it, pero como quiera. So see how the numbers are going down from here? 20, the ones on top, 20, 18, 16, 14. Well, those are the increments for the half scale that is going from right to left. The 1-inch scale are going here 0. These are the bigger spaces. So these are the feet. This right here are the inches. So we're gonna go this way. So there we go. I see a 1, I see a 2, I see a 3. So the feet on this scale is gonna be 1 foot, 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet, 6 feet. All right. Now, if we wanna get technical, if from 0 to here, it's a foot, and this increment is right in the middle, when I can deduce that this, and it, which is right, this is 6 inches. So this is 1, so that means it's 6. If this is 1 and this is 2 feet, and I have something in the middle, what is that? Well, that's a foot and 6 inches. Why? Because remember, every 12 inches equals a foot. 12 inches equals a foot. So it's a foot from here to here, and the line that I'm measuring ends up right here, right on it. Then, since 12 inches equals a foot, and it's 12 inches from here to here, which is between 1 foot and 2 feet, then in the middle, that means it's 6. So it will be 1 foot and 6 inches. Hopefully you're not getting confused. Okay, so let's finish with the scale, the 1 inch, the half scale, and then I'll go do the eighth and the quarter together, hopefully. And then the other ones, you just follow this. It's the same concept. And again, like I've been telling you, if there's something that you can't understand, please send me an email or write down your questions and we'll go over them in class. Okay, so the bigger increments are going to be the feet. So here I have a bunch of lines, and here I have bigger increments. So these are the feet, these are the inches. We always going to measure in feet and in inches. Okay, so always number, feet and inches. Okay, so now let's look at the inch part. There we go. Here's where it gets but not tricky, but you have to understand the concept. We said that in the regular scale we have how many inches? 12 inches, real size inches, that equals a foot. So now imagine this space from here to here, it got shrunk down, and now it was shrunk down to fit in this space right here. So this that you see here, this actual from here to here got shrunk, and now it's right here, from here to here. Well, actually from here to here, because we always start from 0. Okay, so we said these are the feet, and now this part here are the inches. All right, so that's what we said, that we need to understand that 12 inches equals a foot. From 0 on the inch part to the end, to this part here, that is 12 inches. You need to get 12 inches from there for all of them. You might have more lines than others, but you have to get 12 inches from here. Okay? Why? Because 12 inches equals a foot. Now, if you want to, well, I'll say this after I don't want to jump ahead. Okay. So if this is 0, and I know that, and this last line is 12, which is 12 inches, I know that from this first line to this last line, it has to equal a foot. Right? It has to equal a foot, and I know that I need 12 inches to equal a foot. So now I need to know what are these increments going up by. If I'm counting each one of these lines, or if you do, you're gonna find out that there's 24 lines here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 right in the middle. And then another 12 is 24. So if I have 24 lines, okay, I have 24 lines, and I know that from 0 to this last line, it's a foot, it's 12 inches. That tells me that we're going up by half an inch, because half, how many? 24 lines. So that means that it's to the first line, it's half, 1 inch, 1.5, 2 inches, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5. I lost it. But here in the middle, it's 6 inches. 6.5, 7, 7.5, 8, 8.5, 9, this long one, 9.5, 10, 10.5, 11, 11.5, 12 right here. So you always need to get 12 inches from this space. Okay? In this case, we have 24 lines. That tells me that they go up by half an inch, because I need to get 12 out of it. All right? Let me stop right there, and then I'll go over the eighth and the quarter and the eighth. And I think with that, we should be able to have a good understanding. And then, of course, you read the book of how to